Good evening. Happy Monday. I hope everybody had a great weekend. You're watching live Creations by Gwili. I'm Gwili, and Ed is behind the camera to catch any questions you might have during the live tonight. If you're watching the replay, you won't see that little live button up there. Put in hashtag replay. Let us know that you're watching. You also are eligible to participate in our giveaways that I do every week. What does that mean? Okay, so let me pull it up, make sure Facebook has us live, and then we will get started. Okay. Evidently, Ed's having a hard time getting our sound. He must be stuck on some Facebook Live. Okay, I see Deborah is watching. Appreciate y'all being here. Ed is trying to pull it up on his phone. We'll see. He'll probably hand it to me here in a minute. But we are live. I have it on mine. Make sure I can see. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Carrie. Yeah, Ed's here. He's still trying to fix his phone. He's going to be moving the camera around a little bit tonight, so I want to make sure he can see the comments on his phone. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so...
I got rid of the lady and the bear.
And the bear. Wasn't she speaking Spanish?
I don't know what she figured. I didn't understand.
Okay, so tonight, this is Monday, so that means we're going to draw for the transfer. If you missed last week, Monday, go back and watch how I put one transfer on just this little breadboard, cheese board, whatever you want to call it, but it's a perfect size. I had it propped up in my window over there, and I made a larger one, but I didn't have Ed get it down for me. But that's what our giveaway is for this week, and I have all the names in my blessing bag, and we're going to pick here in a few minutes. But the winner is going to get this little board from Hobby Lobby that you can do whatever you want to both sides. Then you're going to get a whole sheet of transfers, but I will cut them apart so that I can mail this in a small box and save on shipping. But it will be brand new. I'll just already have some of them cut apart for you. So if you're new to my page, the way you become eligible for that is I have a different mystery word every week depending on what I'm giving as a blessing gift. And I tell you the mystery word, and you just put in hashtag, like for this it was transfer. So hashtag transfer. I go through every Monday and pull all the names, put them in our blessing bag, and then we draw to see who wins. And I'll ship it out to you one day this week. Then tonight we start something new. So let's dig around in here, mix them up really well, and we're going to see who our winner is tonight. Oops, I got two. Let me just get one. Nancy Hallstrom, A-H-L-S-T-R-O-N. Nancy is the winner of our transfer, and I will get it shipped out this next week. Nancy, I think I have your address. I'm not sure, but I will look and see, and then I will contact you. So this week, we're going to be using the Unique in the Creek oval board, and it's my first Halloween wreath of the year. I don't make a lot of Halloween wreaths, but I think I had one witch hat on my Etsy shop, so I need to put it in a couple. So what we're going to use is the board, and I'm going to come around to the end of the table in a minute, but I'm also giving, this is the sign we're using. I got it from Nick's Seasonal Decor, and it's just a cute jack-o'-lantern face. So this week your mystery word is jack-o'-lantern. So put in hashtag, if you just want to put in hashtag jack, that's okay. Jacko, jack-o'-lantern, whatever you want to put. But that's the mystery word for this week. You can put it in the live. You can put it in as many times as you want to. If you're watching it on replay, you're still eligible. Put it in the comments and let me know. And it'll be for this week, tonight's live and Thursday night's live. Then next Monday we'll draw, and you'll get the sign. Now, I'm going to get up and go around to the side of the table, I think, because I believe you'll get a much better view. And we're going to talk about this oval board. First, can everybody hear okay? And if y'all are having trouble on the replay with the sound, let us know. I've had someone tell me that she can't hardly watch because the sound keeps coming in and out, and that could be a Facebook thing. Ever since I got my microphone, I don't think have had any issues. I know we haven't had any on our end. So if you have any problems, just let us know so that we can see what we can do to help. Sometimes it's nothing we can do, it's just Facebook. Okay, this is the board from Unique in the Creek. I put a link at the top of this video. You can go to their site. She has probably, well, she just came out with a new board that's a rectangle board, and I haven't gotten mine yet. Look for it any day, and then we're going to do some fun things with it. But it's the same place that makes the flower boards that I use all the time. She has a ring board. She probably has 9 or 10 different boards, but you can buy your mesh, you can buy your ribbon, you can buy your zip ties. Tonight I'm gonna tell you how I made a mistake. Y'all know I always try to do things ahead of time if it's a technique or a pedal that you do over and over and over, so that y'all are not on here watching me. Well, I had watched Lori's video, and she had actually made the trick or treat sign and did this oval. Thought I remembered exactly how she did it. I came in here, I cut my mesh, and I'll tell you about I cut all that correctly. But then when I went to put it on the board, I didn't do mine the way she did. And I realized it after I'd done all the outside. So I'm going to tell you, just crafting, you can correct your mistakes fairly easy. So I'm going to start by telling you the way she did hers, the correct way to do it. Of course, you have your board. The 2 holes here at the top are your hanging holes. And you can tell because they're kind of indented. I use the word indented. Ed uses the word something else. Yeah, countersunk. Anyway, to me, indented is correct. So you've got those 2. So the first thing you'd want to do is whatever you're going to use to hang it. You can use jute. You can use a zip tie. You can use a pipe cleaner. These zip ties, let me get some of them over here, are a little short, but I believe, you could definitely still use them. So the first thing you want to do is put your zip tie in your hanging holes. It's just easier if you do it to start with. Zip it till you hear it, and then cut it off. And I'm going to be leaning some. Sorry about that. What did we do with mine? We used them today. My clippers. Ed stole my clippers. We were trying to fix a pair of sunglasses that I have. Put a little bitty screw in the thing. He stole my clippers. All right, so once you put it in your hanger like this, okay? All right. Now what she did is she used the first 2 holes for the outside, and you're going to go every other. So I'm going to use zip ties. You can use pipe cleaners on this if you want to. I was trying to do it exactly the way Lori did it, and she always likes to use zip ties. So you're going to take the top one and the second one. And when I show you, I'll tell you what I did. I didn't do it this way, but it still is going to work. All right, and you're going to load your board. Now, you want to leave the zip ties open for this particular technique. You can go ahead, you're going to load one, skip one, load one, skip one. So you're going to have 10 around the outside of your board. I found that moving my board around, I lost some of my zip ties. They fell out on the floor. So you might just want to load 2 or 3. So you want to make sure, of course, when you're using zip ties, that the flat part of your zip tie is facing up, because that's how it's going to catch and grip. If you have it turned over and you try to go in this other side, it's not going to catch. But I did find that using the zip ties, it makes your mesh and stuff very tight, okay? But that's what you're going to do every other one. So you will have 10 on the outside. Then when you go to do the inside, you're going to do the ones you did not do. And you're going to go from this hole to the outside of the board. So it's your inside ones are going to go like this. Okay, and then you're going to have 10 on the inside. Now, I thought I was doing it exactly like she said. Here, let me get our mesh. We're going to be using this. This is actually a fabric mesh, and I cut them to 18 inches. Now, you want to make sure that it takes one roll, because you're going to have 20 pieces. So 20 times 18 is 360. That is what is on, or supposed to be on, a 10-yard roll of mesh. If you buy your mesh from Hobby Lobby, you need to look at it very closely, because a lot of their mesh now has gone to just 18 feet, which is just 6 yards. So if you do that, you're going to have 2 rolls. But if you buy it from somewhere like Lori or Craft Outlet or Nick or Trendy Tree or some of these other main places, most all their mesh is either 10 inches across or 10 and a half and 10 yards long. So one row. So cut your pieces to 18 inches. Put your zip ties on one at a time or all the way around, however you want to do it. I'm also using 2 ribbons. Lori used one 2.5 inch ribbon, but I'm going to use these 2, and they're 1.5 inch, and I'm going to put 2 on each zip tie. And this is the first time I tried doing it where normally what I do is use a zip tie, and then I put in my mesh, and then I go back and put in my ribbons. But I wanted to do it and see what I thought about doing the mesh and then adding the ribbon all at the same time, so that your ribbon is in the zip tie. Now, it is a very tight grip, and it's not going to come loose, and it's very neat looking. I will tell you it was a little difficult for me, and I'll show you why, because I'm just not used to it. I'm not used to trying to hold my mesh and put my ribbons in at the same time, but you get used to it. But that's the way Lori likes to do it. Okay, now, so see, if you turn this over, well, when you move, then your zip ties fall out. But let me show you what I did and how I'm going to correct it. You know, I had just planned to do the outside. This is what I've got done. All right, this is the top of my wreath, at this top. Okay, I did all the outside. There's 10 of them, okay? And then I got to thinking, I can see a lot of the board, so I'm not sure. Maybe I did that wrong. I went back and watched her video, and I did. And I could have undone all of them, but I chose not to. I figured out another way. It's going to cost me 10 extra pieces of mesh. If you can see, I did instead of doing the inside to the edge, I did my outside one to the edge. And then I was going to do these 2, every one. Well, I didn't feel like, number one, I'm using that jack-o'-lantern sign, and it wasn't quite as wide as the oval signs. Now, Lori sells some oval signs that are gorgeous and perfect fit, but this wasn't a perfect fit. So I decided that I was going to go back and just add black on the inside. I had the black mesh, and it just makes it fuller. Mine will probably be wider than Lori's was, because I kind of did it the opposite. By me coming from the outside to the outside, the last hole, it made it a little wider. So I came in and added black mesh to the inside. I could have gone through with zip ties. You could just clip this and do it all over. But I didn't want to do that. So I figured out a way to make it work. That's when you're crafting, that's what you do. So, but I would suggest you load it the way I showed you to start with and do these, let's see, we're working from the opposite side. So it's these two and then this one to the outside, like I have added the black one here instead of the way I did. But I'm going to finish doing this one this way. It just meant I had to cut 10 more pieces, and I chose to do the solid black, and it will fill in. So you can see I have done the whole, and this mesh does fray really bad. It's a fabric mesh, and I did not wood burn it, but it'll be fine. And you can tell my zip ties there, and it's got my mesh and my ribbons. I'm not going to do a bow or anything, just the mesh and the ribbon. It has it very tight, and they're not going anywhere. So I have done some of them. I have done, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess. 1, 2, 3, and I've just put in 3 pieces of the black. But I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. I've actually done 5. So I've done half of them. I have 5 more to go. So I hope you'll be able to see how I'm going to do it. And I'm not sure. I'm going to have to move this up because I'll have to show you how to do. And you're just doing a simple ruffle. And I discovered, let me find my clip. I discovered I liked doing the zip ties as I go. All right, it's been a while since I did this, so I have one. I'm probably out of the camera. Okay, so I have one here, right up here. So I'm going to skip this one, and I'm going to go right here. Okay, and I'm going to do what's left of, there's 3 openings right there. I'm going to do the inside too. Okay, so I'm just going to put my zip tie right there and leave it open. Then I'm going to take my mesh, and since it frays so bad, I'm going to take it and kind of fold it under just a little bit, not as much as you do when you do like the kerfluffle or whatever. I'm just folding it under just a tad. Okay, and then I'm going to fold this one under, and then you're just going to ruffle it right up the middle. It's a normal ruffle. Okay, and then when I get to the end, I tried to use this clip and it's a little tight, so I got a bigger clip. I did somewhere. There it is. So I just picked up a bigger chip clip and I'm going to put it right there. All right, I'm going to put my ruffle in, but I'm not going to zip it in yet. I'm just going to lay it inside right there. And then I've already got my ribbon cut. I cutted my tails at 13 inches. I think Lori did 14.
You cut it?
I cutted. I've been done cutted. And I tried to alternate to put the one on top every other one. So this is a striped one, so I want the black one to kind of be on top. And I just put it like down a little bit, but yet you'll be able to see both of them. It's still on top. And then I'm going to pinch it and then just kind of turn it down. Shape it a little bit. You know, we redo our ribbon tails and stuff forever. Now, to me, this was the tricky part, is to try to figure out, especially now that I'm at the end of the table and you've got to hold this, take your clip off, put it right there with, and I know it's hard for y'all to see, but I'm putting it right there at the zip tie, and then I'm just going to zip tie it and put it tight, and then fix the ribbon tails. But you'll be doing that constantly, so you just kind of, I want them to come down. And I'm going to tighten that, and I'm going to cut it with a zip tie gun. You can use the regular clippers, whatever, but I'm going to use the zip tie gun. So there I've got that one. Okay, so I'm going to skip the next one, and then I'm going to go to the next. And it's actually, look at the fraying, it's actually 3 empty holes. So I'm going to use 2 of them and leave it open. Now I believe that Laurie takes her ribbon tails and fixes them first. So I'm going to do the opposite. See, I've gotten the stripe on the top. And I'm going to scrunch them and just kind of get them together. And just set them aside for a second. And then I'm going to get another piece. And see, these were at the end of my roll, so they're a little curly. So I just turn it up, and I turn it up just simply to kind of help the fraying. Let's see if it'll hold that. All right, move over. And then I'm going to, because see how it's the black in it that just frays really bad. I could have wood burn it. Well, I'm not sure I could. I don't know if this has got any jute at all in it. I'm going to cut that off. But what I do when I'm done with my wreaths is I spray them with a UV, and it kind of helps with the fraying too. You can use any kind of mesh you want to and use this form and this way of doing it. And you've got so many ribbon tails and stuff that you don't really need a bow.
And Travis said she'd have to watch her rate player phones freezing up.
Uh-oh. Is anybody else freezing? Has yours froze? Okay, so there I have my ruffle. It's like a bow tie. I'm going to put it in the zip tie. Like I said, you could use pipe cleaners if you want to. And then I'm going to take my ribbon, which just came apart, put it on the top. It's going to take me a while to get used to doing it this way. It does make for a very clean back, and you don't, if you wanted to put pipe cleaners there, then you could do all your mesh and then come back and do your ribbons.
Never has to set all good.
Okay, good. Cut that. And I will redo, you know, I've got to come back and add my black, so. All right, we're going to skip the next one. You're skipping the one that has the thing already at the bottom. You're skipping that one, and you're going, this is your inner row. You're going to the one here that doesn't have anything. So, and it's just the same thing over and over. So I'm going to go in. And you know, this mesh, the more you handle it, the more it frays. So once you get it done, it kind of catches on itself. Once you get it done and put up, it won't keep fraying like that.
And when you spray it?
Yeah, that'll help it too. All right, there's my opening. Let me get another. Now you could just curl this, I guess, if you wanted to, but the ruffle helps spread it out.
Kathy Keller says looks good.
I think it's going to turn out pretty. Now it's going to be fuller than Laurie's, but it also cost me 10 pieces of mesh. But I'm okay with that because I didn't want to take it apart. But that's what you do in crafting. You figure out you've goofed, you just figure it out and do something different. All right, so I've got my little bow tie, and I'm going to put this big clip on it, lay it in my zip tie, get my ribbon. Like I said, my ribbon was cut 13 inches. If you want them a little longer, you can do that. And I'm going to lay it. This was what I had a hard time, like trying to take the clip off. It's like I needed another hand. Take the clip off, put the ribbon there. Find your zip tie and all that. And you can tell you've got the right one because you can hear it zip. If y'all are familiar with using the zip ties. But I mean, it definitely, you know, nothing is going to come out. And we'll fix those at the end. Okay, now I'm going to go to the next one. There's my bottom one, so I'm skipping that one. Yeah. Do y'all have any questions? I'm going to the one where there's 3 empty ones. It's just a simple ruffle. I'm just trying to put my tails in at the same time.
All the Reiki said it looks good the way it turned out.
Yeah, it's going to be very full. Like I said, by doing it that way, it just cost me using 10 more pieces of mesh. I could have got away with just 5, but I figured I needed this inside to kind of let my sign sit up a little bit anyway. Lori has some beautiful oval signs. I ordered a couple. I just haven't gotten them in yet. But this is a very nice board to use to get a good size oval look. You could turn it either way. I like it long ways, but if you have a sign that goes across this way, you could do that. All right, I'm going to lay it in my zip tie and just leave it there while I get my ribbon ready. It's just easier to have everything prepared ahead of time, and then it's right here. If you're going to use the zip ties, you, like I said, could still use pipe cleaners, and it would be fine. It's just, you have to just kind of figure out how you're going to hold that ribbon and take your clip off. Put the ribbon right there, and then zip it up. And like I said, I didn't realize I had done it backwards and not like she did till I went back and looked. I thought, well, I can figure this out. It'll still be a full, pretty wreath. Okay, so I think I just have one more. Yeah, one more. And it would have been fine, but I was afraid I could see some of the board.
You've always been a little different anyhow.
Yeah, I do things the hard way, right? Okay. Okay, I should have one more piece of plaid. I'm not going to put any tails or anything in the inside, the very inside where I added the black. I'm just going to ruffle. In fact, I didn't even ruffle the black. I'll show you what I did. I cut them just a little bit shorter. I think I cut them like 15 inches. And I just kind of did the kerfluffle. I probably could have just done 12 inches and it would have been plenty. Okay, I'm going to lay it in there, take my ribbon, put it right there. Have you seen Nancy hop on?
I hadn't seen her.
Okay, Nancy won our transfer from last week. This week, it's the sign, one of these signs, and you need to put hashtag jack-o'-lantern or Jack's face or whatever you want to put like that. Okay. All right, so that's kind of, forget this over here, but that's kind of doing it like I did, what you would see. I still see the inside of the board because I didn't come from this side to the edge. But that's what I'm going to do now. And let me make sure I can remember. I'm doing it on the one that has the outside, not the inside here. So I need to, I did this one, so skip this one. I need to do one here. Let me figure it out here. Skip that one. Hi, Linda. Thank you for being here. I want to make sure I'm getting this right now. So am I doing it? I'm doing it with the one that has, so I got to do this one. But I probably could skip it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to make it full all the way around. So on this one, I'm going to go to the outside. And same thing, I'm just putting it in there, and then I cut 10 pieces of the black. I think I just cut them like 15 inches. And basically what I did with them, rather than ruffle them, I just took the edges and kind of curled it and then just scrunched it together. I just needed a filler. And I'm going to put it in there and zip tie it. Not adding any ribbon, nothing. It'll kind of frame my sign too. Okay, and then I'm going to skip one, and then I'm going to do the next one. And you can always turn it over so that you can see. So I'm skipping this one, I'm going to do this one. And there would be 10 of them, so. If that makes sense. I could have got away with just doing 5, but I had the mesh. Of course, see, it's fraying too. That's why you just kind of curl the edges up a little bit and get those ends up and under there. I think this is a little bit like the kerfuffle, only I don't stop enough and roll it. I just roll it a little and put it in there. Then we'll be done with the mesh and I'll show you. By adding this, I mean, there's no way you can see the boards, but I'll have to go back and straighten my ribbon and all that. So I'm gonna skip one and then do one here. I'll turn it over and make sure. There's my black. Skip one, do one. It really doesn't take that long to get it in there. With these boards, one reason I love these boards, I love working with all of them. I don't think I've done anything on the, she has one that can be a butterfly or an angel wings. I think I've used all the others. I don't think I've used that one. I can't wait to get a hold of the rectangle. I'm going to do a Christmas centerpiece with it, I think. So, I mean, you still kind of have a bow tie, but not as big and fluffy.
And Kevin says I like that.
I may do one more Halloween wreath, and that's about all I'll do. I don't do many of them. Okay, so then I'm going to...
Thank y'all for the stars and stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I use the stars for my shipping, for my freebies, so I appreciate that. All right, I'm skipping one and adding one here. And we just about... I got to make sure it's in there right. Nope, I had it backwards, so just flip it around. I know it's hard for you to see when I'm putting... But when I'm totally done, I'll turn it over again.
And the Renshaw said, late as usual to the party.
That's okay, Sandy. We're just... I'm just telling everybody how I messed up on starting this and how I'm going about fixing it. And I could have easily just undone the zip ties and done it over. But when I saw I had the black mesh anyway, and I thought that'll just help frame my picture of the jack-o'-lantern face. So, and this mesh catches on everything. Skip one, put one here. And I'm going from that last hole to the inside of the frame just to make it fuller in here. And then I'll show you how I put the sign on, and then we're done. I mean, it doesn't take long. It's kind of like this when you spend more time preparing. And that's the way it is with a lot of the boards. They're so easy. You spend more time preparing your mesh and your ribbons and than you do actually putting the flour or whatever it is together. I probably use more for flour boards than anything. Okay, all right, I'm skipping that one and I'm going to this one. And I think we just have one more.
Sandy Renshaw says I need to get a zip tie gun.
It really helps the hands. It does.
She stole one from me and wore it out and then
I
bought another.
had to order another one. Once you get used to using it, yeah. Because it tightens it. You know, if you don't get it that tight, like if it clicks the first time, see that one didn't because I didn't tighten it all the way. So the first time you push the trigger, it tightens it and then it cuts it. So you know it's tight. It's cut the length it needs to be. Okay, this is the last one.
Sandy says that's funny.
He knows I stole all of his tools. Anytime I need anything, it's like, Ed, have you got a so-and-so out there? There's no reason to me buy one if you've got one. Right?
Yeah, she stole all my staples.
I did. Going to use one tonight, too. Okay. You just kind of want to make sure you don't have one end a whole lot longer than the other. Like I said, it's just a filler to take care of my mistake.
I think it's just as pretty. I don't see that it's a mistake.
It's fuller. I don't know, you know. Well, it was a mistake. If I had not had black mesh and I only had one roll of this plaid, so I probably would have undone them. All right, so basically that's the wreath. Let me turn it over for you to see. But look, I mean, it's kind of, it needs to be fixed on the front, but look how neat the back is. And I will just double check and make sure I don't have any of these like close to the edge that would scratch our door. But that's how smooth and good looking it is on the edge. So see, to correct it, all I did was add these inside pieces. You don't have to do that if you do it the way I showed you to start with. When you start on your outer row, use the two holes, not the edge of the board. Then when you go to do this one, then use the edge of the board. I did it backwards. So, all right, so that's that. I want to make sure I get my top at the top. And I brought my little, don't know if I'm going to use it, but I've got a little needle that helps me with my pipe cleaners. And I am going to use pipe cleaners to put the sign on. So I want to make sure, see how nice the black just frames the sign? But I want to kind of make sure it's even. And I think I'm going to put 4 pipe cleaners and put them in the holes. I don't want it mashed down too much. So what I'm going to do is on every corner, I'm going to put one of these staples. What are they called, Ed? I just know they're not flat. They're
made for wire.
But see, they go in, but then they have a
Curve.
Yeah, a curve to them that a pipe cleaner can go in. So I'm going to put one of them on each corner.
They're made for wall mountain wire.
You know, they go over your wire. Used to, the telephone company or whatever would run wire around your baseboards. I don't think they do that. They hadn't done that for a while. But these were made to go over that wire. So I'm just going to twist a pipe cleaner on each one.
She's got a call. She's got to go. But
thank you for being here, Kathy.
she says, I'll watch it replay.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking for Facebook to take away the replays. Who knows? they'll probably start charging us to go live too.
Brenda Bracken says, I received my package from you today. Can't wait to try it. Thank you so much.
Good, and you're welcome, Brenda. Okay. All right. So the main thing, if I was gonna put a big bow or something, I would put my sign up a little bit on these ovals. Like I would put it up and I'd put a big bow right here. But I don't think it needs a bow. You know, I want to be able to see all this pretty mesh and the ribbon tails. So I'm just going to kind of try to center it the best I can, knowing me. And let's see if I can use this. You just like put the...
Linda Kirkendall sent to 50 stone.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate it. All right, I'm going to try to find the hole. And I'm just going to run this pipe cleaner through one of these. And I thought this needle would help me do it easier. All right, that one's through. Let me see where it's at. It's right there, so I'm going to try to run the other one on this one. So I'm just going to put this on here. Find the hole. All right, there's the one.
Ruth LaBelle says she agrees it doesn't need a bow.
No, I think it's got plenty of colors.
Well, y'all agreeing on me.
Yeah, what is it? Ed says less is more. But this one, it doesn't need a bow. Okay, I have those two in, so I'm just going to lightly tie them so they don't come apart. And I'm going to work on the other side, and then we'll fix all this later. Okay, I got to find the hole, and I want it to be like I want to do. Let's see, there's my middle one, two, one, the second one. So I want it in these right there. So I got to find it, and I got my glasses on top of my head, I think.
And Travis says you're right, and less is more.
Especially on something like this. You've got your bright colors. All right, I'm just trying to find that. Hang on. Would help. And I don't really want y'all just looking at the top of my head. But I've got to find that zip tie right there. That way I know it's straight across. Okay, that's that one. I'm wondering, wonder if I could do this. We're going to see. That tells me where the other one is. See, I could get smart after a few times doing this. So I'm going to hook that one and then pull it through that one. That was quicker, wasn't it? Go backwards. Okay. So I'm going to pull.
Barbara Bennett says, I love this wreath. It's beautiful. We'll watch the replay so I can see how to start.
Okay. Be sure to watch the very beginning because I'll tell you the correct way of doing it, not the way I did. Okay. Let me just twist that a little bit. You don't want to twist them and cut them off until you're positive it's the tightness and the angle that you want them. Okay, so it's going to be somewhere right down here. Let's try this one. So I'm going to take one of these and put through my needle. And I'm just looping it. Now I need to probably not try to go through that mesh. Let me get it where it's not. Yeah. It'd probably be too hard to try to run it through the mesh. And see, here's the center. That's one great thing about the board. You can tell where the center is. So I did the same thing up here. Here's my center. I skipped one, went in one. Down here, here's my center, skipped one, and went in one. So my sign should be straight. Okay. Now let me figure this out if I want to go on this side. Kind of go between those two. Okay, and I'm just going to pull it a little bit, just lightly twist it. Then this is my center, skip one, so I'm going to do these two. So there's my two things. Let me find my needle. It's right here. That made it a good bit quicker. Okay. So now I just need to figure out what I need, and I'll pull all these out and straighten them up in a minute, but I need to go back and frame, pull these up and frame my jack-o'-lantern a little bit so that it's black all the way around it. If a little bit of it is underneath there, that's fine because it'll help hold it up a little. At the very end, I'll go through and cut any extra, like little pieces like this. You just clip them off before you spray it or anything. Once you're totally finished. Okay, I think I need a little here. Of course, I don't want to see any frayed edges. And he's on there good. And he should be centered. Let me just hold him up a minute. Yeah, I think that looks good. So what I'll do, before I fix my ribbons, I'm going to turn it over again, and I'm going to go back and twist these a couple of more times. The only thing, you know, if they wanted to take off the sign or do something different, then the only thing that has pipe cleaners is the sign. So I'm going to just kind of cut it off and push it back through to where there's no sharp edge there. Make sure I'm tying and not untying it.
Linda Kirkendall wanted to know what kind of staples you use. You use 3/8 arrow rounded.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Rounded. But you have to have a certain type stapler, correct?
Yeah, have a T25.
Okay. It's model T25M is what it says. Made by Arrow Fastener Company.
You can get them at Lowe's and Home Depot.
and that's the staples you put in it. They're rounded, and I use them for all my signs. Okay.
Brenda Bracken says, I received my apron today. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Unique in the Creek.
Okay.
And Travis.
And like I said, before I ship it out, I'll go through and double check everything and cut all these little frays before I take pictures and spray it. And then it doesn't fray near as bad once you.
Linda says I'm just posting a picture of it and posting it on my page.
Okay. Just have this one. Sometimes with these black pipe cleaners you can't tell. I guess you have to do righty tighty, lefty loosey, or whatever that is. And I'm cutting them just long enough to go in the other hole, to where they're just a line across there. And see, now I can take and kind of push those to the outside if I want to, but there's my hanger.
Thank you, Brandon.
So there he or she is. Now, the thing that we as crafters always have to do, fix the ribbons. And we'll be doing that until the day it goes out the door. So you just want to make sure you can separate them, you can curl them up a little bit. You want them straight and then just a little curl to them. And I kind of like separating them a little bit. This one, the black is going to be, the next one, the stripe is going to be on the outside, and the black's going to be, the stripe's going to kind of be on the inside. The black is to the outside. You could use, if you had this in 2.5, you could just use one ribbon. All right, I'm going to do all the outside first. This one, the black is going to be on the inside. It's just more prevalent, and then just do every other one. But you just kind of put them in your finger and kind of curl them a little bit. And I'm going to go all the way around on the outside first, straightening them. Because the more you flip it and the more you work with it, they get kind of wonky. But it's just every other one. So you have 10 on the outside, 10 on the inside. So you're going to cut each of your ribbons. You're going to cut 20 of them at either 13 or 14 inches, whichever you choose.
Howard Moxley wants to know if you made the pumpkin sign.
No, I purchased it from Nick's Seasonal Decor. Craft Outlet probably has it. It's a fairly common sign. In fact, I actually had one that I had left over from last year. So I bought 2 and then I had 1. So he had them. I don't know if I got the one last year from him, but he did have them this year. But Lori has some beautiful oval signs that fit these oval wreaths perfectly. So you've got one roll of mesh, and since I used 2 different ribbons, I have a good bit of ribbon left on each one of these spools. One of them came from Crinkle Designs, and the other one I think was Craft Outlet. I already had those. Okay, I'm just...
Brenda Bracken, what length did you cut the ribbons?
13 inches. Lori did 14. So you could do 13 or 14. If you like them sticking out more. And after I made the mistake, I'm glad I just did 13 because, this is a pretty wide, I'll measure it here in a minute, but that's the top one. It's a pretty wide wreath. I may not even put it on the Etsy store. It may go on my front door. I don't know. I need to put it on the store because I only have one thing for Halloween on there.
Ruth LaBelle says this is great. Not too Halloween, just enough.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I like it too. Okay, so now I'll do the inside ones. So I have 10 on the outside, 10 on the inside, every other one. Then none on the black. All right, this should be another part of that one. And you can do your ribbons however you want to. You can put them on top of each other, you know, however, if you want to. One thing about it, they're zip tied in, so you can pull and do whatever you want. And this is what I always do right before I ship a wreath anyway, is if I have any kind of bow, I put tissue paper in the loop of that bow. And if it's just tails and stuff, I straighten. I check for little things like that, because your customer doesn't know to do that. But I would suggest if you go to Unique in the Creek and order you any of these oval boards that you try their other boards too. The new one, it's a rectangle board. I mean, it's going to be awesome for a lot of different things. And then the ring boards are great. I want to do a fall one. I think on the oval board, she did one the other day to where she used 2 rows of mesh and then spread them apart, and she put greenery all in the middle. But I think I want to buy a garland with leaves and just do leaves in the middle. I mean, you wouldn't need a sign or anything. I think that would be really pretty.
Master says, I love you, Pumpkin Wreath. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. I'm glad you like it. I like it too. Of course, I will hang it in my utility room for a couple of days and walk by it and make sure I don't want to change anything, but it doesn't need a bow. I will just double check all the ribbons, the ribbon tails, that you can see them and that they're turned the right way. Okay, let me measure this thing. Give you an idea of how wide it is if you do the goof up. Let me get this stuff back. All right, let's see. Well, it's longer than my board, and my board is 24 inches. So I am guessing it's about 28 inches in height, and it is, let's see, I think it's just 18 inches here, so probably 20 inches or 21 inches wide, which it still will go, you know, in a 20-inch box. So it's a pretty good size wreath. Let me hold it up, and Ed may have to come up with the camera so that you can see it totally. But that's him. I think he turned out really cute. So that's it for tonight. I appreciate y'all being here. This, if you missed the first, this is how the board started. And I explained where to put your tie wraps and stuff like that. You can use pipe cleaners if you want to. You don't have to use the zip ties, but it does give it a very nice backing. And they're in there tight. You don't have to worry. There's no glue on this at all. And your zip ties are going to last forever, and they're not going to just come undone. So the only pipe cleaners I have are holding the sign on. So, okay. I'm not used to standing up and bending over the table, y'all. That's work. I appreciate you being here. It's been an hour. I normally don't go that long, but it's hard to make a wreath in less than an hour. So come back Thursday at 6 o'clock. I'm going to have, I think, at least 4, maybe 5 to 6 different pumpkins to show you how to make that you can use in your decor. Some of them small enough for a tier tray or dough bowl. They're just super easy. One of them, I've made 2 pumpkins just so that I knew about how many strips you would need. And I saw one at Hobby Lobby, and as I was leaving, and I took a picture of it. So that's kind of what it's based off in it. It's basically yarn that is braided and then put on the pumpkin. But they turned out really cute. I have to go to the shed and dig out all my fall stuff so I have stuff to decorate them on the top with. But that's what we're going to do Thursday. So I will see y'all Thursday at 6 o'clock. Y'all have a great week. And Nancy Ahlstrom, A-H-L-S-T-R-O-M, it's laying there. She won the transfers. So I will see if I have her address. And if I do, I'll just ship them right out. And if I don't, I will try to contact her. And I'll just leave the names in the bag in case. I mean, she's on here a good bit, so I think I'll hear from her. But in case I don't or whatever, then we'll draw again next Monday extra. But I'm pretty sure I'll hear from her sometime this week. So she won the transfers, and this week your mystery word is jack-o'-lantern, and you're going to get a sign like this. So, all right, well, thank y'all for being here, and y'all have a great week, and I will see you Thursday. I'm going to get off of here and get some water. So, and we have gotten rain off and on all day today, but that was kind of nice. So it's not as hot as normal.
I have a box that says it's first time watching.
Well, thank you for being here. I hope you'll come back. Be sure and put in hashtag jack-o'-lantern to get your name in the blessing bag. And I don't always do wreaths. I do a lot of just inexpensive home decor, because that's kind of my goal, is to show you how to do a wreath. But if you just want to do some simple, cost-effective stuff, then I show you some home decor. So I will see y'all Thursday at 6 o'clock for some pumpkins. Bye-bye.